It's part of our culture to give back, but the one thing that we feel very confident that our customers love and support is that we love and support the community.
That's the reason why you're a great store leader now, is because you're very, very demanding.
Yes,
you know what you want.
High expectations.
Yeah, high expectations. My goal is for your guys' social media team for the Tulsa SCHEELS to be the best in the company. You're good. Hey, SCHEELS, you did a good job training this guy. All right, I'm going to be straight up with you, Pete.
Whoa, clear out the room, I'm coming through, they wanna see what I'm about.
And that's the name, you know.
I'm on a paper route. Extra,
You gonna hook me up? Okay.
Today's trying to tap it. I put commas over bullshit. Yeah, I put that on mamas. They trying to block all my blessings.
Hey, welcome back to the People of Oklahoma podcast, where I talk to very interesting people that live here in Oklahoma. And this guy that we're talking to today actually just moved here probably a couple of years ago. Actually, I'm not for sure. We're about to find out. But he is the store leader of a brand new store that is going to be opening on October 19th. October 19th, it is a big store, a very big store, 314,000 square feet. It's actually located right next to the Woodland Hills Mall, and actually is part of Woodland Hills Mall. It is called SCHEELS, and we have Pete Philippi on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you.
Pete,
thank you.
Welcome. Store leader. That's a big role, man.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. So, Pete, real quick before we get started into it, can you give me like a 30-second, 1 minute of what SCHEELS is? Because some people watching might not even know what this is.
Yeah, it's a sporting goods retailer, but it's so much more than that. Employee owned and operated. It's 100% employee owned. Started in 1902 as a hardware store type of concept and has grown into this massive destination style retail store with everything from fashion to sports and sportswear, hunting, fishing, camping, and all of the above, including a bunch of attractions that people get excited about, a Ferris wheel in the middle, an aquarium as you walk in, and we work hard for the best service in the game. That's what we're working for.
Yeah. No, that's great.
A lot goes into it.
Yeah, so actually I got to go see it a couple weeks ago. And it was, what do you guys call that? Like a pre-showing? What do you guys?
We were saying behind the scenes tour.
Oh, behind the scenes. I like that better. I like that.
Yeah.
So behind the scenes tour, and it was really cool because we went to the UMAC over at Union High School. Sat down. You gave us the spill, the history, which I thought was super interesting. And that's when I was like, I want to have you on the podcast to give kind of that same spill so people would understand what SCHEELS is all about. And then we got to go see the store. And, we had to wear hard hats and these vests. And you told us beforehand, you're like, hey, guys, you can't record in certain places. And, I'm always down to push the envelope a little bit. And so I recorded everything. And you caught me several times. And I was like, I got to get out of this group because this guy's telling me to quit recording.
I noticed you abandoned my group.
Yes,
yeah,
I did.
Smart.
Halfway through, I was like, dude, I got to get away from this guy. He's like a hawk, which makes sense because, like, is it OSHA? Who's like watches you guys' account, like to make sure you guys are doing everything correct?
Oh, I think OSHA is all industrial buildings.
Yeah.
But as far as the safety standards, we have our own internal safety standards.
Oh, okay.
But you didn't mention the fact that you were walking and recording in a construction site. That was for your own good. That wasn't about us.
It was. Yeah, someone looked at me and was like, Steven, stop, you're gonna get kicked out. I'm like, okay, I'll stop.
You can record. I was worried you were gonna trip over everything.
No, yeah. I was definitely walking and there was definitely extension cords. So OSHA, he did a great job.
Thank you.
So don't go after SCHEELS. Please don't. But it was really cool because I got to see all that behind the scenes stuff of like, because underneath the store, you guys actually have like a shipping department that like when people order online, you ship stuff from there. And is that right?
Yeah, back of house. We do all of our outbound shipping to online customers from our store locations. And if you're in Oklahoma and if we've got the product, which of course we do, we're going to be shipping to you from this location.
Yeah, and which was super interesting. And then we got to go back where the offices were, which that was huge, and look at the break room. And so cool. Do you guys do any more of those, or was that the last one?
We're trying to do those every Friday.
Okay.
As much as we can, of course, within reason. We've limited the total number. We don't want to have too many people in there. But it's been awesome having people from the community, of course, business professionals, nonprofits, the folks that we'll end up partnering with long term. It's been a pleasure to have them through the store, just so they can talk it up and explain a little bit of what it is. We've never been in Oklahoma before as a company, so we want people to see it beforehand and then support us on the 19th when we do our opening and the big ribbon cutting 9 a.m. when we open the doors.
Yeah, that's going to be cool.
And we wanted to get the hype out there. And we're happy to have people take some pictures and show people that we're making some progress. And we are opening. We do open on time. So
Yeah. Because for a second there, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is still a lot of stuff to do. But I went by the mall the other day, and you guys already have the parking lot already working on, and I was like, oh my gosh, they're moving so fast.
if you walked back through, you wouldn't recognize
Really?
it. Even in the store, you were there, and there was whatever phase of development, and now the walls are up and the product is on the shelves, and it's moves fast.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. So with you said something, and I just totally forgot. I blanked of what you said or what I was going to go with. But you said the first time in Oklahoma. You're actually not from Oklahoma.
I'm not.
Yeah. So where did you come from?
I'm from Minnesota, born and raised originally. That's where I started with SCHEELS, and it's been now 17, almost 18 years in 5 different states, 7 different stores, and I've moved 8 different times.
So when you started with SCHEELS, did you start in the management position, or what did you?
No, I was a part-time college kid. This was a part-time gig. SCHEELS is a great place to work if you're just a college student or a high school student. It's an awesome first job. For me, I had been in construction before that, and it was a great kind of a separation or a deviation from that. Just the professional environment, but also ever-changing, always learning and growing, new product all the time, great people. It was very, very fun as a college job. So if college students out there, if you're interested, this is a great place to work. High school students as well. Awesome first job. A lot of professional development, teaching all those soft skills that people may or may not have in their experience or their history. So we teach a lot of that. That for me was a big deal. And as school wrapped up, and my wife ended up getting a teaching job, we ended up moving states. She got recruited. And well, as we ended up moving, it was, where am I going to work? And you got to pay the bills, start out. I was a science student. I went for geology and environmental studies. So I maybe would have ended up in Oklahoma in the oil and gas industry anyway, a different path. But of course, SCHEELS led me back here, regardless. Well, as a result, it was always just a plan to say, let's just pay the bills, move to a new town, new state, and then I'll keep looking in my field of study. Fell in love with it, and honestly haven't looked back a day since. SCHEELS does a great job of always presenting new challenges, new opportunities, always some sort of growth, and leaning into that, it has been fun.
So when you guys moved, was there a SCHEELS where you guys moved to for your wife's new job?
Yeah, it just so happened that there was a SCHEELS store there. Yeah, well, I grew up, SCHEELS was that community store where you wanted to spend your time. If it was the weekend, you wanted to go there and look at the new baseball bats, or you wanted to look at the new fishing gear or sports gear, whatever, buy new shoes. For back to school, you bought your backpack there and all your clothes. That was the place.
Oh, okay.
Well, when I went to college, about an hour away, there was also a SCHEELS there. So in my mind, SCHEELS is everywhere. I grew up thinking SCHEELS was everywhere. Then we happened to move states. We moved from Minnesota to Iowa. There was also a SCHEELS there. So of course, from my perspective, SCHEELS is everywhere. It's not. We only have 34 locations.
I was about to say, that's kind of crazy because probably at that time you had less than 34 locations.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So you just so happened to be
there.
Fate right there, man.
Yeah,
that is fate.
I agree. Very thankful that it worked out. Well, I even went so far as to just kind of call that new location. Hey, we're moving to town. My wife got a teaching job. I want to work at this SCHEELS store. I was assuming that you could forcibly transfer, that they had to take me because I was an employee. So I just pestered them with phone calls. When are you going to interview me? When will you interview me? Eventually, I think they just relented. He won't give up. It went so far as I actually moved to town and was there already saying, so when do I start? I didn't know at the time that you have to apply, and they don't need to take you if they don't want to.
That's funny.
So I kind of forced my way in. I even went so far as to tell them the areas of the store I wanted to work and the ones I didn't want to work. I told them I don't want to work in this particular shop. I want these ones. I was demanding. I don't know why. I thought I was so talented that I could have demanded that.
That's the reason why you're a great store leader now, is because you're very, very demanding.
Yes,
you know what you want.
High expectations.
Yeah, high expectations.
Well, they were kind enough to give me exactly what I told them I didn't want. And it ended up being great for me, of course.
They just wanted you to quit, dude.
Yeah, that's it.
They just wanted you to do it. Like, dude, this guy's nuts. Like, give him what he wants. So what was the job you didn't want?
So I didn't want to work in the fitness area. And it's not because, well, now you could say I could probably use it. But at the time, I didn't want to work in the fitness area because I had worked with someone at the other location who said, there's not a lot of money in this game.
Okay.
Well, I ended up being offered that. Of course, I said, I don't want this. And they came back after leaving the room. They came back. They said, well, we have an offer for you. It's the one you don't want. And I, of course, said, I guess I'll take it. Not a lot of options. It ended up being one of the top locations for that type of product in the company at the time. So it was a blessing.
Oh,
but of course, at first I was kind of disappointed, only to find out that the company had better designs for me than I had for myself, and ended up leading the company in that. Grew as a, kind of career opportunities, got to travel even with that shop and set other stores and things like that.
Really?
It was really fun. Yeah. But
Dang.
good thing they didn't listen to me is what I'm saying.
Yeah. SCHEELS knows best. What was the part-time gig you had? What was the job for your part-time gig?
Yeah, part-time, I wanted to sell camping gear. And for anybody that's out there kind of looking for different jobs, at the time when I was in college, it was that classic summer between junior and senior year when you're not going home, you're going to stay at college and enjoy that college lifestyle with your friends. So I applied all over town. I was thinking I would work in the construction field, which is what my father does. So I had grown up doing that. Applied for different jobs. Nothing was coming. And then I just started looking, anywhere. When I mean anywhere, it was actually an oil change place that I first got an offer. Like, I guess I'll change oil this summer. And then on a whim had applied at SCHEELS, and they hired me. So I did both. I did oil changes in the morning, and then I would try to scrub the oil out from under my fingernails and all the creases on your hands, and then get dressed up. At the time, we were wearing shirts and ties. So I went from oil change to shirt and tie, all in the same transition every single day.
My God!
Eventually, you can imagine which one I stayed with and which one I dropped pretty quick.
Right.
Nothing against oil changes, but that wasn't the game plan for me. So I did all
sold camping gear part-time?
Sold camping gear.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the hope. That's what I had applied for. And in SCHEELS, the zones are broken up. The areas of the store are broken up where you sell really a broad range of product, which was a blessing, of course, because people are in looking for tennis rackets and golf clubs and camping stuff, of course.
Yeah, and hunting gear.
Absolutely. Yep.
And
everything.
everything. You guys got clothes and shoes, which we'll dig in here in just a second. So you start, you get the fitness job, all that good stuff. And then when did you decide that you wanted to grow and do the management route?
Yeah, that's the classic question. When did you decide that this was a career and not just a gig? Well, remember, I had been going to school for something entirely different. So in the back of your mind, so many people are thinking, I'll do this for a while.
Right.
That's pretty standard.
I mean, your calling was looking at rocks.
That was it. Yep.
Look at rocks.
Be out in the field or lab, I guess, and stare at rocks. But what had happened, I worked for a little while, really enjoyed it. After school, when you have that relief of not having, tons of things going on, doing all sorts of stuff, sports activities, clubs, groups, it was nice to focus on one thing. And then that thing happened to be, again, thankfully, it was SCHEELS, which was ongoing challenges and development, growth every day. And at one point, I got invited to an additional professional development, a training class. And again, back to me not knowing everything, I had been invited to this class, and I sort of declined. I kind of brushed it off, thinking it was no big deal. And after about a month of not going to this class, I had gotten an email, hey, you're invited. One of the top leaders came and found me, and he said, hey, Pete, are you going to come to this class? And I said, yeah, I was thinking about starting sometime next January. And then he kind of, without actually giving me the nudge upside the head, he said, hey, that's a by invite only class. That's our leadership development class. We're looking to train you to get promoted. And I had no clue. I was completely lost. And I said, well, I should probably go to that. That seems like a really good idea. Thank you. I'm honored. And so I started to attend. So after about a year of working there, I had the opportunity to get promoted and join our leadership team. We do a lot of leadership development at SCHEELS. I joined the leadership team, and then from there, it was kind of off and running. So if there was a turning point, it was getting promoted, joining our leadership team, and then switching from a sales floor position where you're really managing the product in your area to our leadership team's primary responsibility is developing others. So it was a lot of teaching, coaching, training. And that was, for me, that was when it really clicked. This is what I wanted to do. And then after that, no looking back.
Yeah, because that was the one thing I guess I can't fully say this yet because I haven't talked to too many employees over at SCHEELS, but I honestly haven't heard a bad thing ever from any employee. I don't know if that's part of your guys' training of brainwashed. No, I'm just kidding.
That's it. There's a lot of Kool-Aid drinking. Yes.
It kind of reminds me of a retail store of a Chick-fil-A.
Oh yeah.
That's
a compliment.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's just super nice. When I was walking around the store, everybody was super nice. I don't know if it's because I was filming them or what, but everyone was super, super nice. So how's the hierarchy work? And probably you don't want to use the word hierarchy with the employee. So is it part-time? How's that work? Because it's very interesting how SCHEELS works on each section has its own store. Can you kind of talk on that?
Right. So we look at it as though we're a house of brands. And so we represent a bunch of our different vendor partners as brands. Nike, Under Armour, if it's in the hunting space, it's Sitka, of course, and First Light and Mystery Ranch, and depending on the category you want. If it's golf, it's Titleist, TaylorMade, and so on for Callaway. So as you go through those different house of brands, each of the zones of the store are broken up into what we call specialty shops. And what makes it specialty and not just a department is how it's run, not just what's in it, but how it's run. We want to have premium brands, aspirational brands, stuff that you really want to buy someday. Right. But we also have entry-level product that people buy when they are just getting started. So we cover the full range. But how it's run is by the actual specialty shop manager. Their job is to be buyer and seller. They're all from end all, be all of that shop. It's their shop. So the individual that runs the golf shop, for example, is the buyer of the golf product. They purchase all the items, they merchandise, they display, they do the pricing. But they are also the expert that's selling that product to the customers that come in, and they lead the training for the others that sell in that same area. Just like it would be if it was a small, local golf specialty shop. We also have the hitting cage and simulator and hitting bay so that you can actually go in and be professionally fit for clubs. So we try to cover the full service spectrum as well, not just the product spectrum. So how it's run, you're actually talking to an owner. Full-time employees are owners. That's the buyer as well as the primary seller. So when you're talking to the expert in golf, they're truly the expert in the industry.
And that's why you said earlier that you didn't want to work in fitness, because you heard that, you couldn't possibly make as much, right?
Right.
Is that so? Literally, these people that run these stores wanted to do well, and so they get the good stuff. They care. They want to help people, which I thought was really, really cool. Really, really cool. Now, with the store owner, or the store, not store owner, I'm sorry, the shop. What do you call them?
Specialty shop manager. Yeah.
Specialty shop manager. Then they have employees underneath them. So they have full-time and part-time employees under them.
So you mentioned the hierarchy. The specialty shop managers are the full-time folks that run or lead their individual shops.
Okay.
The different specialty shop managers sell in each other's shops. So your other full-timers don't work for you. They are shop managers of their own departments, but they also cover yours as experts. So the golf person covers baseball, for example, and the baseball person also covers golf. So there's this collaborative experience that takes place. They have respect for each other, both running aspects of the business. They do the same job, but just in different product categories. But they also sell across each other's shops because, of course, they're the trained salespeople and experts in their areas. So they cross-train. The part-time folks work by zone. So as a part-timer, when I started selling camping, I thought I was going to sell camping. And then I ended up selling tennis and golf and soccer and baseball and basketball because that's all in that selling zone. Camping was one aspect of what I sold, but I also sold a lot of water ski, skis and wakeboards and things like that, which for me was really exciting because it was there's never a dull day.
Right.
Any down day when it's not baseball season, I could be selling something like a snowboard in the winter, and that was awesome for me. So it makes it a really rewarding space. The full timers cross over and sell in each other's shops. The part timers sell throughout the entire area, and then we do a ton of training to make them experts, of course.
Right.
From there, part-timers, again, working kind of in collaboration. Full-timers are leading shops and selling in each other's shops. The assistant store leaders, the next level, the leadership team.
Yeah.
They are.
And this is the job that you had to get trained for. Okay.
Exactly. Okay. That was the promotion to that next level. That's when they switch gears and they really become, I always call them business consultants. Mm-hmm. They're really just teaching the business to the specialty shop managers. Because some folks, if you're hired today to run a golf shop, you may have been a golf pro at a course, probably do a pretty good job running a golf shop, but maybe you are just a college grad, love golf, maybe played on a golf team, but haven't ever run a retail store before. So someone needs to teach you the aspects of retail. That's what the leadership team is doing. They're helping manage the experience on the sales floor, leading the experience for customers, but they're also developing those individuals within their shops. They're teaching them. You watch Shark Tank, there's times that they give money and they're silent partners, and then there's times that the folks that are looking for investment are looking for someone to teach them more about the business. That's kind of what our leadership team is doing. They're the folks that are investing into those shops and the people that are leading them.
Okay.
That's their job. That was really fun. That's an addicting job because there's always growth taking place. So.
And so as what was that position called?
Assistant store leader, their leadership team.
Okay, assistant store leader. And so are they over a certain like couple of sections, or they just kind of help wherever someone needs help at, and they're kind of
they have a list of supervised areas that they have. And
okay.
Realistically, to do it well, you can't have 10 different departments or shops.
Yeah.
In order to lead those with the intensity that is needed to run those well, you can only have a handful, maybe 3, 4, or 5 at the most, before it becomes where you don't actually have time to develop individuals.
So with the full time or the shop specialist, how many positions are there in a store? Like for the shop specialist?
Yeah, well, we have 85 specialty shops in a SCHEELS store.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
And so there's a variety. Not everyone needs to have just one-to-one. Sometimes you have 2 specialty shops. Sometimes the shops are so big that they have 2 or 3 specialty shop managers. Yeah.
Okay. And then how many assistant store leaders are there?
In this store, there's 25.
25. And then on what's above the assistant store leader?
Store leader.
Oh, store leader. Okay. Nice. And then you guys have a marketing team that, because I talked to Bobby and them with social media and stuff like that. So how many back office people do you guys have?
Oh goodness, there's the full accounting office. There's a marketing team. There's of course folks like working in reception. We have a cleaning crew. We have a freight receiving crew. We have the shipping, inbound receiving and outbound.
Oh, so you guys
shipping.
hire your own cleaning crew? Like that's in-house?
Yep. All of that's in-house.
All that's in-house. So you guys don't hire that out or anything?
Yeah. So what is the number? Yeah.
70. Yeah, and so the reason why I was asking all these questions, it was building up to a bigger thing here, Pete, is how many employees are you guys hiring?
The total count is just over 580.
580 employees.
And I would suppose at some point that's going to kind of ebb and flow based on season. We're hiring into a grand opening holiday, so a 2-for-1.
Okay.
Normally we would balloon up for seasonal around holiday, folks that are they're working there for 90 days.
Yeah.
And then they'll go on to whatever their other career was. They just kind of help us out during the holiday. Yeah. Well, we're kind of over hiring for that because it's holiday coming as well as grand opening.
Yeah.
So we're just
it's going to be nuts.
Right. So that number is, maybe realistically closer to that 500 or 525, 550, but we're over hiring it to 580 right now to start.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And then how many of those is like full time?
About 225 are full-time employees. Man, the rest are part-time employees.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then something else that I hear some people say in the comment section is like, oh, they moved all these jobs here to Tulsa. Like how many full-time people did you guys actually move from different areas?
Maybe 50.
50? Wow. And so all these other people are going to be hired locally.
Correct. Yeah. So no, we didn't move any part-time employees.
Yeah.
So that 350 or whatever the number comes to, that's all local part-time job, anywhere from, usually we expect at least 10 to 15 hours, but a lot of those are 20, 25 hour positions. So it's not like it's insignificant.
Right.
And then from the full-time position, even if we took 50, that's 175 local full-time jobs. If we transferred 50 folks in, and we've hired all different positions across the spectrum. We've already hired and promoted locally, so our leadership team is already infused with local Tulsans, but also, of course, Oklahoma folks that are from around the area.
Yeah, because when I was talking to, once again, Bobby's the social media guy that I talk to a lot. And so he's here locally. He got hired on to be social media. And then the other guy, which I forgot his name. Joseph. He actually moved from the Wichita store. Correct. Because he wanted to be in the social media.
He has
position.
such a great story.
Dude, I need to have him on the podcast.
Yes,
he's a really good, and I don't think he would mind, but yeah, he worked at the Wichita store, worked for SCHEELS, loved SCHEELS, wanted to do the social media thing. They didn't have a position, and he came here to Tulsa.
Yep, took the leap, and he has done a fantastic job.
He's talented. Great. He's talented. Man, I'll tell you what, your social media team, which I thought, so when I first started watching you guys on social media, I thought like there's a big corporate that did all the social media stuff. I didn't know there was a social media team for each location. So I was like, man, dude, these guys are good. Like, man, I like these guys. And it's kind of funny because they kind of are like the face of SCHEELS in a way. Because, and I asked them, because I had lunch with them yesterday. I asked them, I was like, do you guys like go out in public? And people are like, oh, you guys work at SCHEELS? And they're like, dude, we go out in public, and people are like, oh, you're the SCHEELS guy. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's just they have engaging content. They are out in the community, and that's a big thing with SCHEELS is you guys do a lot of stuff in the community. Like now, I mean, for the last couple of months, like what are some of the things that you guys have done out in the community?
Yeah, we have tried to go full force and understand that it's always interesting because you can only balance so much of that. We started with 6 people in the office and immediately began community engagement. Maybe more than we were ready to take on, but we love that part. That's what we kind of live for, and it's part of our culture to give back. That supporting not only youth sports, of course, the industries that we're in, but supporting nonprofits and then community groups is a big part of who we are. We try to not do anything that's overtly, turning customers off. Yeah. But the one thing that we feel very confident that our customers love and support is that we love and support the community they live in. So if we can support the community, it's really safe and it's really effective. It's productive, not from a sales perspective, but about building a better community. Better community, it's a better place to do business. That's just simple fact. So we love doing that. What are some things we've done? Well, we partner with a whole bunch of teams locally, college and high school teams. Usually starting, we tried to, partner up with the folks at ORU have been awesome. The folks at TU
you guys are with
been
awesome. I didn't know that. You're with TU too?
We were, Oklahoma Wesleyan. Those guys have been great partners. We do a lot of stuff on micro scale where we try to work with them on a summer camp or on a particular project because we want to form that relationship. We really feel each other out and see what are we working on, and then we try to just put support. Sometimes very small, it's minor. Maybe it's just a prize at an event or hats or something like that. And then occasionally, if they have a bigger project they're working on and it makes sense for us to be able to support it, we can. We can't be everything to everybody, but we love to try to meet everybody so we know who's doing what and what the community's, what's the heartbeat of the community? What are people working on? Right. So from that, we've done a bunch of nonprofit work all over, from packing meal days to serving at a bunch of the local nonprofit partners. We were just down at the Center for folks with, disabilities.
Yeah, the center over there downtown. I know exactly where you're talking about. That's a great spot.
Yeah, Mecca and they were there with our team, and we're just happy to support them and work with those folks. So it's kind of broad reaching. We do a lot of school work if we possibly can, of course, supporting folks in education. We look forward to doing more and more of that. I could keep going. Yeah. We do a lot of stuff like that.
I know, that was another thing that I just kind of was like, wow. Because, to be straight up with you, I'm going to be straight up with you, Pete. I wasn't super excited when you guys announced because I'm going to speak truthfully, like probably some of the people watching.
Lay it on me. Whatever you got. Go
for
it.
Some people are like, oh, this big box store is going to come in and take all these, local shops out and all that other stuff. And, I was like, man, dude. And with my content that I make on social media, I'm really a big component on supporting local business, small local business. That's kind of like a thing here in Tulsa, small and local business. But after I heard you speak, and then I started opening my eyes to like other things you guys have been doing out in the community. I was like, dude, this is a local spot. Yes, they're corporate. There might be a big corporation behind it, but these are all people, Tulsans that work here. They're giving back to the community. And I was like, all right, I'm going to mess with these guys. So that's when I DM'd you guys on Instagram. I was like, hey, what can I do to help? What can I do to help? Because I want to make sure you guys do well. So
we do like people to know that the folks that live and work here, that's local.
Yeah.
Even moving my family down here, my son plays, baseball in Broken Arrow. My
How old's your son?
7.
Oh, okay.
And he's on the Broken Arrow team. He had played on a Bixby team. So that stuff we're here. We're local. When we move here, we plan to stay here, to be here. Yeah. There's not a lot of the come in, open a store, and then just head off to the next market. We have 34 locations. It takes 2 years to build one, and we're not this rapid growth company. We're trying to do it right. Well, doing it right means really tying into the community and supporting the communities that we're in, and really the employees that live and work and play and are in the same schools and playing on the same teams as everybody else around here. That's part of who we are and what we do. That doesn't happen overnight, but it also is very local. So if it feels at first like something far off and distant, it quickly turns into like, no, you recognize these folks because they're in the same schools and teams and clubs as everybody else. Yeah.
So is that how SCHEELS always functioned from 1902? Like, was it always this kind of big department store type thing? How did it work?
So general store in 1902, you're talking about starting.
Was it 1902 when it started?
1902.
Gosh, that's crazy.
Turn of the century, talking like pioneer type of.
Was it always called SCHEELS?
It was called SCHEELS, yeah. And
what does that stand for?
SCHEELS, that's the family last name.
Oh, that's the family's last name.
Yep.
Are they still alive? Well, not the 1902 people, but are they still alive?
Yes, very much so. SCHEELS family members. You just witnessed the retirement of our CEO, Steve SCHEELS. So he was, in the lineage of.
Was he like the
SCHEELS folks.
kid of
great
Shield?
grandchild.
Oh,
there's
great.
Fred, Steve. You'll have to, don't quote me on the history.
Okay, I
there,
won't
but
quote you.
There's a big, long history of Shields family members running the company. Well, as the process went, German immigrant family sells 3 acres of potatoes to buy a general store, a hardware store. Then opens more hardware stores up and down kind of the Red River Valley area around Fargo, North Dakota. It started in Sabin, Minnesota.
Okay.
And then over time, you have this growth from slightly smaller stores that were really serving local communities to a little bit larger stores, eventually 5,000, 10,000 square feet. And then the square footage just goes up and up and up. Eventually, you have this switch from carrying some lines of sporting goods and apparel and shoes to deciding to do half apparel, shoes, and sporting goods. Then eventually the brave undertaking to switch one store to all sporting goods. The performance then, they were beating everybody else in sales. And so as a result, the company falls in line and switches to stores that are running all sporting goods lineups in there. So the removal of hardware, except for we do still operate one home and hardware store.
Really?
In the Fargo market, yep. Just as, of course, paying a little homage to the history. As time goes on and progresses, you have larger and larger sporting goods stores, turns into a destination. You start adding things like a Ferris wheel and some food type of attractions, like adding our fudge, which people love, and the restaurants. Eventually, you do major multi-level happens, and you have a 2-story, 100,000 square foot store, and then now they're 200 and now 300,000 square foot stores.
300. Now, when you were telling me the history back when I was doing the sneak peek, you said there was a little bit of tension, or not tension, but disagreement of the dad wanted to keep it a hardware store and the son wanted to go more sporting goods.
Right, yes. Yeah, of course.
So how's that go?
The story goes something along the lines of just the debate about which type of product would be the most durable in times of recession or challenging times. So the conversation was in hard times, people are going to need hardware, and that's true. Mm-hmm. They do. They need, those are tools and implements they need to run their jobs or their lives. And then the argument was, well, will they stop buying sporting goods? Well, once the experiment was undertaken and they did it, it turns out folks do still buy sporting goods even in those tough times. They just buy higher quality ones, or they make sure to invest wisely into companies that they trust. And we work really hard to make sure that we're one of those. Yeah. So that kind of grand experiment of will this work even in tough times? Of course, it only works if we continue to put effort and work into it and earn customers every single day. But pretty cool that the math worked out that people will still buy things to recreate and to enjoy their free time or downtime if they have any, even when times are tough. People need to still engage with their friends and family and community, and we do that a lot of times through sport and play and adventure.
So when they started, has it always been employee owned? Or
it was a family owned for a very long time, and then you're talking about the 90s when it became an ESOP company. So now it's employee owned company. So the Scheel family works agreement to leverage employee ownership, starts an ESOP, and then now essentially gifts the ownership of the company to the employees. So that now you have this employee owned and operated company, and then it becomes employee owned from local people. So that's why we try to make sure people know it's locally owned and operated. Yes, other owners live in the other stores because they're all part owner in this company, but the folks that are here are owners and they're local.
So you got 34 stores now.
Yes.
Will this be number 35 or is this be number 34?
This is 34.
This will be number 34.
Yeah.
And then it started in 1902. What is the largest store?
Dallas? Yes.
And how big is that one?
Oh, I think they're 320 something. I'd have to look at the exact.
And then this store in Tulsa is going to be 314.
Yeah, 313, 314.
Yeah, 314. Man, and then but we're not Tulsa's not going to be it's going to be the third largest, right?
So we just opened a store in Boise, Idaho, Meridian, Idaho. That's a little bit larger. It has some storage warehousing space attached to it. So that makes it, it's all under one.
That's cheat, dude. You can't add the storage.
Oh man, they're going to watch this. And so I agree.
Tulsa.
I think ours is great.
Thank you. You are becoming local. So yeah, good. Stand on Tulsa. Tulsa's second largest. Behind Dallas, because we're always behind Texas. Why not? That makes sense.
They've got to have the biggest. That's okay. It doesn't have to be the best, right? We can work on that.
What's the smallest location?
I think the smallest location would be either Hardware or Moorhead. I'd have to look at the square footage. We have a very small location in Moorhead, Minnesota, but they all do great. They all represent a different part of our business. So
now, does all the locations have Ferris wheels?
They do not.
Oh,
No.
okay. So Tulsa's special in that. I'm trying to think of things that make Tulsa special, you know.
There's a lot of things that make this
I
store
know,
special.
right?
Oh, well, we can go down that path for sure. You're going to notice some upgrades, a couple things that you'll see in this store that aren't in any other. Yes, we have the full-size Ferris wheel. So we have the 16-car, 65-foot tall Ferris wheel. Which
Now, is that going to be free? Is that cost money?
$1 to ride, just $1.
$1,
Bob.
Okay,
Yep.
that's not bad.
That's it.
All right. That's
$1 to ride. We'd like to give the tokens away because, of course, that's just part of the fun to make sure people interact and ride.
Oh,
that
so you
thing.
guys will just like hand out?
We try, yeah.
Oh,
just
that's
to make
fun.
It fun. Of course, we appreciate that people are going to come and pay $1 to ride.
Yeah.
But we try to, like, you know, if it's give it to a school group or as we work some of our partnerships, we try to make sure that.
Do you have any employees that will just like keep some in their pocket and just like hand them to the little kids?
That's the best part.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. We love that.
Yeah.
Anything to kind of add a little bit of surprise and delight to the customers. For
Right.
Sure. So the Ferris wheel, this one does have that big aquarium at the front,
Yes.
that 16,000 gallon saltwater aquarium. And you walk in, there are some other stores that of course have that, but we're really excited that's awesome. The gun shop is upgraded here. We're really excited about the new layout. It's fully enclosed.
Whoa, you guys
kind
sell
of
firearms?
We sell guns. Yeah.
And I remember when you were talking to us at the UMAC, you're like, so we do sell firearms. Does people get upset about that?
Oh, no.
Okay.
I think they love that.
Yeah, I was about to say we live in Oklahoma. Like,
Yes.
like we're probably like the biggest state for gun or firearm components.
Yeah, there's certainly a lot of opinions in the world about
Yeah.
that, but we have done that for as long, pretty much as long as we've been in business, and we're very thankful and honored to be able to sell firearms.
Yeah.
So.
In speaking, you're about to talk about it, but go ahead. I think it's really cool of how you guys designed that gun area or firearm area because it's its own separate area.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Couple cool things we have. There's a service shop area attached to it where all of the services can be done, including working on bows, but also mounting scopes. That's something that's different.
You guys are going to service them there too?
Correct.
Oh,
so that
sweet.
stuff is
Okay.
right there in we're calling it the service shop, second floor service shop area, the gun service shop. That's a new feature that the Meridian store has and we have, but none of the other ones do. And then the actual gun shop itself is just redesigned, really pretty with all glass casework and enclosed area, which creates a really nice, kind of that private, intimate shopping experience for those folks in that area. We have that kind of set up throughout the store. Golf is designed to feel that way. Baseball has its own hitting cage and the hit tracks in there, so people can kind of see some stats about their swing, but also try all the bats. So we love having those interactive spaces within. That's what makes it specialty that we talk
Man, I'm telling you, that baseball shop's going to do a killing here in Tulsa.
about. It turns out there's some baseball and some softball in Oklahoma.
Oh
I love
yeah,
that.
dude, softball's huge. I mean,
Yes.
down in Norman, Oklahoma City, they got the World Series set up. That's who you guys need to team up with. You need to team up with OU softball.
Oh, we'll get there. We will get there.
I
We're
know
excited.
some people.
We're excited.
I'll put it in good word for you. I know some people. You just got to give me some tickets if I make it
that's
happen.
the deal. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah. There's always something for me. There's always something in it for me. I'm just kidding. So you guys have all that, and you also have a rollerball.
Rollerball.
Yeah.
Miniature bowling alley.
Yeah, miniature bowling
Very
alley.
fun. Very fun space. Just a lot of anything to keep it so that if you're cruising through the store, not only can you bring family, friends, and interact, but something for kids to do. Each of them are designed so that parents can do it too, right?
Yeah.
And play together. But it kind of spread out throughout the store. There's an arcade, as much as we can possibly pack in there. We'd love to do. So there's a rollerball. There's an arcade. There's also a shooting gallery, the old timey kind of laser shot shooting gallery.
That surprised me.
There's a candy store. There's a home decor shop in there.
Yeah, because you guys sell couches.
Correct.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that until I walked through the store. I was like, dude, they literally sell everything except for what else? What do you guys don't sell?
Oh, right. I was joking in your group about we don't sell boats or four-wheelers or hot tubs.
Which you guys did try to sell something like that at one point.
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
you?
There's a story about selling BMW motorcycles. That is true. We did sell BMW motorcycles for a while. I love talking to, the folks at SCHEELS about the history. There's a lot of different stuff that we've sold over the years. One of the individuals that I was trained by as I was coming up used to joke about he ran plumbing and cake decorating. So imagine that on your job description. You go home and tell mom and dad, hey, I got hired at SCHEELS. My job is the plumbing aisle and cake decorating. Of course, what a great conversation.
Oh, wow.
So that's the hardware meets sporting goods and a little bit of everything in between. So
yeah. Wow. So and the other cool thing about your guys' stores is it's all cash, right? Or am I mistaken about that? You guys,
we pay. Yeah, everything's paid off.
Everything's paid off. Like you guys don't take out loans. And correct me if I'm wrong, because this is kind of what I was just reading online. So
well, yeah, as you look at that, there's a variety. Of course, we're going to use lenders to work through processes because sometimes that's the right decision. But we're very proud as employee owners to make sure that we are very fiscally sound. So this is where I answer with business is good.
No, business is good. I didn't ask it. I was going to ask more questions about that, but I forgot all the questions I was going to ask. So like with like growing the store, with oh gosh, I forgot where I was going with that.
That's okay. I got you at business.
You got
is
me.
good.
Business is good.
It works
Gosh,
every time. Just shuts them right down.
Darn it. Gosh darn it. So how long were you in the role of assistant store lead to get to the big head honcho?
Oh, I see. Yeah, the development path there or growth path through there. I was an assistant store leader for a few years before becoming a store leader candidate, entering into a store leader training program. And then I was in...
Oh, so there's a training program? So they just don't give you the keys to run a store? No?
Definitely not.
Okay, so you got to go through a whole program?
Correct, yeah. Okay. So there's a store leader training program, just like a lot of other businesses would run people through a development program where you train under certain trainers and have the opportunity to lead in different capacities, learning every corner of the business. One of the things, you talk about store leadership, the goal is to be able to lead all of operations, not just the finance side, but everything on-floor interaction. You mentioned all the different stuff we sell. Yeah. Well, the expectation, of course, is that our team understands all those different roles. So one of the big challenges and why it takes a long time to get there, you've got to learn all the different departments. So at some point I had to lead the service shop, which is bicycle repair. And at some point I had to supervise the restaurant. So you're kind of doing the grand tour of each of those, which takes quite a bit of time.
Yeah.
So
how long were you in each one of those sections?
Sometimes it's, maybe 6 months to a year learning it. Sometimes it's several years learning it. But imagine leading the firearm department. In order to lead that well, you've got to understand every aspect of it. And then SCHEELS, of course, has far-flung shops from fashion and home decor type of areas all the way to camping and fishing and hunting, guns, to we do in-house maintenance and in-house cleaning. So at some point you supervise a little bit of everything. I don't know that I'm a master of any one of those things, but I've worn a lot of different hats.
Yeah. So you went through that store training. So how long would it take, what on average, like how long does it take to come as an employee all the way to a store manager?
Oh gosh. I would bet your average is going to be a dozen years or something.
Really?
So yeah, it's not a rapid overnight process.
Did it take you 10 years?
Let me think that through. 11.
Took you 11 years. Mm-hmm. Wow. And to become a store manager. And then from the store manager position, you traveled to other locations, right?
Correct. Yes. This is the fourth store that I've been a part of. So I've had the chance to lead some of our, smaller footprint stores, smaller format, square footage to medium size, and then some of our large format and new stores like this one.
Yeah. What was the, because you said something earlier about being a store leader, and Bobby was telling me about this. You're actually a trainer now for other store leaders, right?
Yes, I have the privilege to serve as one of the training store leaders for new store leaders as they're coming up. So as they're training to become a store leader. So I have a couple folks that work with me here that are store leader candidates in training. So they're just learning. And this is a great environment to learn because, of course, we go on the world tour of all systems. When you start a new store, you've got to kind of reboot every single system from the ground up. So what a great place for folks learning all those operations. You can kind of do it all at one shot. Where if you move to a store that's been running well for 20 years, most of that stuff's established. So you're not really looking too deeply at the why did we get here or how did we get here. In a new store, you're forced to go through every single system and act. Are we going to put this here or here? Are we going to have 5 or 10? Every question is asked in a new store environment. So
wow. So how many store leader candidates are in? You said 2 or
2 right now.
2.
Yep.
Do they have a lot of those in the workings, SCHEELS across the company, or is there probably 5 or 6?
Yeah, business is good. You're absolutely
business. I didn't ask any numbers.
You said how many?
Oh, I guess I did.
We have a full crew or full class complement of folks that are kind of coming through the development system.
Because that would be kind of tough because you only have 34 stores, so these people are just kind of just at the assistant level, just waiting for.
So remember, you're spotting talent everywhere. So some people have been, I mentioned it took me 11 years, but everyone's development timeline is different. Depends on what you're exposed to, what you've had the chance to lead and learn, to learn from. So that could take you 20 years to get there. It could take you, maybe it's on the shorter end. The goal, of course, is to have people ready to lead at all those different levels. And it's not as though there's a waiting pattern. When the people are working in this store in that program, they're actively working. They're not just ride along. They're also key leaders in that store.
Sitting in the back room, waiting.
I do. There's a lot of sympathy put out there. Like, oh, are you stuck in a program forever? You're also getting paid and working your job in that role. You just are kind of doing dual roles. So instead of it looking as though they're in waiting, think of it more like a teacher also taking master's courses. They're still teaching. They're very satisfied, happy, but they're also working on this extra work on the side to eventually move up a rung, or as it were.
So it's one of those programs that you took PR. Because
I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
You're good. You're good. Hey, Shields, you did a good job training this guy. He's all these bad questions I'm asking him. He's just able to turn them around real quick.
That's all good.
He's able to turn them around real quick.
We get asked a lot. There are a lot of similar questions, but remember, we answer a lot of those internally too. Folks look at the community as though, well, SCHEELS one person answering out. It's 580 people inside, so it's a little small town itself, and they all want to know the same questions. So I might answer these questions a lot.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. But like with only having 34 stores, did you say just 2 of them open this year? Are they ramping up and opening more stores every year now? Or?
It's all just based on opportunity. Okay. And we happen to open 4 stores in 2 years. We just opened Phoenix, Arizona, Chandler, Arizona. Ooh. We just opened Wichita. And then,
Wichita?
And then we opened.
I mean, I'm honestly surprised you guys went to Wichita. Is that probably one of those smaller markets you guys?
We still operate a hardware store, so it's not necessarily one model that works.
Oh, okay,
it's about finding the right community, that great partnership, and then just scaling the store to the right pairing.
Okay, got you. So you guys obviously just don't go in and like, oh, we're gonna put a store there. You guys do research.
You're asking me if it's arbitrary and we just throw darts.
Yeah. Just throw darts. Yeah. Because why did you guys choose Tulsa? I mean, let's get there.
I love that one. That's my favorite one.
Why did you guys choose Tulsa?
The best question. I was getting at. That's my favorite question that people bring up all the time. How come you chose Tulsa over OKC?
Yes.
Then I very sarcastically respond,
Oklahoma City sucks.
Isn't it obvious? I'm just kidding. Isn't it obvious? And just kind of playing up the rivalry.
Right.
The truth of the matter is it's got to be the right pairing, the right timing, all
right location.
Yep, all that stuff needs to match up. They're big stores. It takes a long time to build. Communities have to have a development spot ready, and I'm of course not going to give away all the secrets there, but all those obvious things. When you're not building a lot of locations really fast, things have to kind of marry just perfectly to work out. And Tulsa's an awesome community, better than I would have ever expected. I didn't know anything about Oklahoma before.
Yeah, how much does SCHEELS pay you to move here?
Yes, business is good.
Okay.
The truth of the matter is, my wife fell in love with the community immediately, which was a big surprise.
Tell me about that. Did they call you up because you just took over a store in?
I was in Billings, Montana.
Billings, Montana. Yep. Did they just call you up and said, "Hey, go check out Tulsa"? How did that happen?
I got a little bit of a look in a meeting that said you should go check it out. I hadn't seen this site. I had never been here where this store was going to be. I'd never been to Tulsa. Had never been to Oklahoma before. When the store was announced, I got a little bit of a look in a meeting that said maybe you should go check that market out. Not that I would have to move here, but or get to eventually. I love it. Yeah. So I decided, let's go take a look. My wife and I came down. We just picked a little vacation. Let's work, a little play. Let's sneak away a little bit and just check out this community, see what it's like, see if it's something that we would consider. Yeah. We were very happy, parked. I love Montana. My heart's there. My family was there.
You just moved your mom.
We had just moved there. Right. My wife's mom is there. Everything was set up. We absolutely love it. And again, a lot of family, a lot of friends. We had lived there twice, so you're rekindling friendships and getting tied into the community. Loved all of that stuff. And then we came here, and after about a day and a half, my wife, we had explored the community. We had gone to Gathering Place. We had rode scooters around on the Riverwalk and Jenks, and we had eaten out and checked some spots, went to the lake. We even did a show at River Spirit. We stayed at River Spirit for a couple of days, and it only took a little bit. And I said, well, what do you think? She's like, I think we're going to move here. And I was completely blown away because my mother-in-law is still in Billings, Montana.
Right.
And I thought, are you sure? And what is it? She said, the people here are amazing. People in Tulsa are just absolutely amazing. And as far as, what else? I said, what else is it? She goes, well, this will maybe
The money's good. No,
this will maybe be an underdog, as far as not that many people are familiar with everything Tulsa has.
Right.
So even with our own company, not everyone is familiar with what does Tulsa really have. And once you're here, you realize, well, Tulsa has sports on steroids. Football's the real deal. Baseball's the real deal. And I could go on with all the other activities. There's also even marching bands. The real deal.
Dude, marching bands. You live in Broken Arrow, so
Yes.
Marching bands legit over there.
You started looking at each category and say, okay, well, where do they rank in the, kind of the country as far as competitive level in the things that we absolutely love, the sports and outdoors. Well, fishing is world class. Hunting is world class. Guns are world. This is Tulsa, right? So people love their guns. As far as sports, they love football, they love baseball, they love softball, they love, and you go on and on and on, and activities and family and community and great core values. All of those things are perfect, and they may not be perfect for everyone, but man, they're perfect for me and my family. So we love it.
So and then you guys were like, "Let's go."
Yeah, I said.
And so, how long
are we going to do this?
When did you have to move down here? Because you said the building process takes 2 years.
Yes.
And do you guys always build next to a mall?
About half are in malls.
Oh, okay.
Half are freestanding. It just depends. Again, depends on the opportunity.
Right.
We came down in January, so about 10 months roughly before.
Is that kind of like the
opened.
plan for a store? Is like, hey, get the staff started down there. And
yeah, if you do the reverse math on how long it takes to hire everyone, rather than doing shotgun style hiring, we hire and train our people in our other stores. So we fly them off to other stores. They train for a week or two, and they come back and we recap. They fly back out and train again. In order to do that with 225 full-time associates, you kind of back into those numbers and realize you need every minute to try to get all of that done. You only want orientation classes with so many. You can imagine starting with 75 people and sending them all out at once. That would be chaos if something went wrong. So we were doing pockets of 20 to 25. You do the math on 20 to 25.
Dang,
it takes that
flew
many
them
weeks
out
to
to
get
other centers or other stores.
Yeah. Yep. They fly off to our other, or drive depending on what proximity.
Close,
and then they train for a week or two. They come back, recap it, do it again.
Wow.
And that way, by the time we open, the vast majority, there's a strong core of knowledge. You won't certainly know everything because, it's the first time we've ever opened a store in Oklahoma, but they at least have an understanding of SCHEELS and what their job is.
Right. And so you're not going to bring in like a grand opening staff that goes, these are all people that are going to stay here.
Right. We'll do both. We'll have folks that come and help us.
Oh, will you? Okay.
Because, of course, we want representatives of our corporate marketing team, and we want representatives from, for example, the president and CEO will be there because it's a grand opening of a store. But for the most part, the project is being facilitated here. The vast majority, 99.9%. Those, our corporate partners are very helpful, though. They're always helping.
Yeah. And their corporate partners are like Titleists and like who's your corporate partners?
our corporate office. Like our
your
corporate
corporate.
They're certainly helping us daily.
Yeah.
All that product ordering and stuff,
Yeah.
as we go into new openings. We're training the team, but of course they're setting us up. So, but yes, we have a lot of vendor partners as well that are very helpful, making sure we have the right product.
So grand openings October 19th. What does that day going to look like?
That day,
have you ever had a grand opening? Is this your first grand opening?
I was
store
part
manager?
of the Sandy store, Salt Lake City store grand opening. Okay. It is a parking lot party. Huge. We want to try to have as many people as we can pack into that parking lot. We will try to bus people in. We'll park off site and leave that parking lot open for, we have folks coming, marching bands, drum lines, cheer teams, pom teams, DJs. It's a parking lot party from 7 to 9, and then cut the ribbon and go in the store.
Just go in the store.
So yeah, send everybody. Man, it's pretty fun.
Dude,
and of course, all of our free swag and prizes and things like that. We try to make it a big event. And then what a lot of people really want is they want to get inside. So we do a big event, but then move out of the spots, let the people park, and then open the doors.
Man, dude, that's going to be insane. What do you like most about working with SCHEELS?
Oh, I love that. That's the most common internal question. You've been with SCHEELS for a long time. What do you love most? I think the easy answer, the shortcut answer is the people, because the people are absolutely amazing. I work with the best people in the industry, the best people in all, the game. And they truly are. Over time, people really develop and grow. I love that. My personal kind of answer beyond that is the challenge. There's always something new. I love trying new things, testing new things, and the industry we're in and the broad range of industries we're in are changing so fast. There's always something new. I don't know that I could go to work and just do the same kind of repetitive motion thing all the time. I'd get bored. I'd be a little unfocused.
Yeah, but like what to do. And what do you think the secret is? Because we said earlier that, I know for me, it kind of reminds me of like, customer service style of a Chick-fil-A. Like, how do you get other employees to buy into that? Because like, how do you do that? Like for your staff?
Oh yeah. We do
what do you think the secret is?
I think very similar to the folks over there. We are really just teaching our expectations, but really teaching the culture and trying to get people to understand and see who we are. What does it mean to be a SCHEELS associate and an employee owner, and just constantly spend time on that. We believe in onboarding our team to the SCHEELS culture before all the skills and position needed, lists. We try to get them bought into who we are and what we stand for. And we spend a lot of time on that. Several weeks, if you were to start back when we were in the career center phase, you'd have a couple weeks of just nonstop culture training so that people knew what it meant to be a SCHEELS employee, what it means to put customers first and to care about your teammates and to be an owner and treat it like a family.
Man, that's cool. That's cool. So before we wrap up here, what is your favorite restaurant here in Tulsa?
Oh man, that's a good one. Favorite restaurant.
Or what's the restaurant you just went to recently that you like?
I went to at the barbecue joint Oakhurst.
Is that
Is that
Oakhurst? Sarah, do you know? Cassidy? No. I know what you're talking about.
It's
really good.
Yes,
it's really good.
I just went there yesterday. That was
and it's funny
fantastic.
I said that because I've never been, but I've heard people said it's really good. There's another good one called Black Alley Cats or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Alley Cats.
I haven't
maybe?
been to that one.
Yeah, it's another good barbecue.
There's so many great restaurants.
That's the
here.
thing about Tulsa, dude. Like
There's
people
good
don't
food.
realize there's some good food here. There's some really good food.
Yeah,
Are you a burger guy? Do you like burgers?
I like burgers. I
Dude,
like it all.
you got to come with me on a burger review.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it.
All right.
I
just did a review with the social media guys, Joseph and Bobby. We went to a corn dog place in the mall.
Yes.
It's a Korean corn dog.
Oh, you went?
Yeah.
How many did you eat?
I ate two.
Those
Which
are-
I'm not used to.
Those are filling.
Oh, they're very filling. It's funny because they're so good. They're way better social media than I am. They do the videos like live, kind of like they like talk to the camera, where I do voiceovers, and I just can't do that. Like they're good. They're just like pop it up. They say some stuff. They turn it to me, and I'm like, I don't know. They're good.
Yeah,
They're
post-production editing is your friend.
Yes,
That's okay.
absolutely. I told the guys, I was like, hey, my goal for you, I'm going to help you guys. My goal is for your guys' social media team for the Tulsa SCHEELS to be the best in the company. I want corporate to talk about the social media team here in Tulsa.
I love it. Well, they're awesome. So they're just getting started too. The first several months was probably figuring out what is SCHEELS at first.
Right.
And so they're doing so well, considering that it's not an easy target to pin down exactly what we are, because there's so many different facets to it.
And I love it how you guys kind of gave, because I was talking to them yesterday, and I love how you guys give them the flexibility to kind of create different stuff. And I was talking to them, and they said each SCHEELS location for social media has kind of almost like a different like niche of like what they do to promote their stuff. Like some of them are more picture heavy. Some do some other stuff. And so like for them, they're doing a lot of video stuff, and they're doing like, these kind of food reviews, or going out and experience things and filming it and talking about SCHEELS while doing it. And so it's really cool that you guys give them the ability to kind of try new stuff and figure out what they're going to do to promote, and advertise SCHEELS. So.
I think it's awesome to watch those guys work. They just keep coming up with cool stuff.
Do they ask you to do stuff sometimes?
Oh man, I tease them all the time. Even like this, I go, you can't find a better, model to be on screen than me. There's got to be somebody out there. And they're like, oh, we want you to do it. So I do sometimes.
Yeah. Bobby,
We have so many talented people in the store with 580 people. There's more talented people than me.
Yeah. So when I was leaving the sneak peek, I was giving my hard hat and vest to Bobby, and I said, all right, Bobby, this is what I need. I need that guy that told me to get off my phone on my podcast. And he's like, all right, I think I can do that. I might have to convince him, but I think I could do that. So
it was fun.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. One more quick thing. How does people find SCHEELS? Anything you want to say to the viewer before we log off?
Yeah, October 19th, of course, grand opening. We want everybody there in that parking lot, 7 a.m., all kinds of people gathering, and we're going to make sure to make it a big party. We love that. So come see us at the store. starting October 19th, and then after that, as much as possible. If you're interested in working, it's scheels.com/careers.
Okay.
And we're always looking, always hiring, even through this phase, of course. We're just looking to add great people to the family.
Dude, that's awesome. So October 19th, go check out the grand opening of SCHEELS here in Tulsa, located inside. Is it inside or outside? What do you say? Because at Woodland Hills Mall. And then also, if you want to follow them and get more updated stuff, make sure you go follow them on Instagram at Tulsa SCHEELS.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you.